going to be the home opener. And of course, people go to the ballpark and, you want to have what? A hot dog and all the great stuff that's down there usually involves meat. So they're saying, nah, there's not going to be any special dispensation. Not that we don't want people to have a good time, but, Lent comes first and it is Good Friday on Friday. So, and we'll be talking more about that too as the week goes on. This is a very important week for Christians. Um, and Passover, of course, is this time as well. So we'll be talking more about that as the week goes on. Beth Ann Long, our producer today, and Danielle Mason is back at the switches. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Hello.
So you lived through your birth. Is it a birthday more than a weekend? You had like how many days off?
It was like an extended weekend.
Okay. So
Yeah.
was it all that you'd planned it to be?
Yeah. My boyfriend met me at the airport. He was flying in from Kansas City, and when I was going down the escalator, he was standing there with roses for my birthday. And then he brought them.
Flew to him. You flew to be with him.
So no, we were going down to Nashville. So he flew from Kansas to Detroit, and then when I got to the airport, he was standing there with the flowers.
That's so sweet.
He brought them from home. I was like, "Dang, you went on a plane with these?
You flew with them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll bet he was like the belle of the ball on the airplane.
Oh my God, yes. He was telling me that most of the women were like, "Oh, are those for me?
Yeah.
Oh, did you get those for me?" Yeah, it was really cool.
I was going to say, I've been married a very long time, like really long time, and he could probably give some pointers to my husband.
Oh, he probably could.
Is he romantic like that all the time?
He's very sweet. I will say that. I don't consider it romantic, but like I guess other people would.
His boyfriend's very sweet too.
Yeah, it's just sweet.
Is he, Beth Ann?
Yeah, I get flowers almost weekly. What? He falls off of it sometimes, which like I don't like care, but like he will surprise me with flowers.
My best friend married a man who they have every Friday's flowers. He gets her flowers no matter what, and this has been for 9 years. He's got her flowers every Friday, and then every Sunday he goes and gets her coffee.
Aww. My dad does that for my mom too. My mom has this vase that's on her kitchen table, and my dad has promised her that she will never have like dead flowers in that vase.
Okay, what? These guys are unbelievable.
Yeah.
I am going to give all of the guys you just mentioned my husband's phone number. They are to call him. I mean, I don't know how many. This is I'll tell you the whole thing with my husband. This is my husband. For my birthday this year, which was in January, my daughter, who is married and lives in New York, called him and said, this was the day after my birthday, and she said to him, Dad, you need to go out and buy Mom a birthday cake. You can't do the birthday and not have, there was nothing. I mean, he wished me a happy birthday, but we kind of agreed on no gifts this year because we have a big trip coming up. So we kind of agreed on that. But he's just, and he finally just said to me, Marie, I'm just a terrible gift giver. I have such pressure about gift giving. And I'm like, what's the pressure? Just go out and buy some flowers.
Yeah.
Just buy, whatever. It doesn't, it's really is the thought that counts. Now, that all said, I will tell you this story. I drive up in my driveway, and if he sees my car parked in the driveway, not in the garage, he'll say the car needs gas, right? And I'll say yes. He'll take my car out and get gas.
Yeah.
It does not matter the time of day or night or morning. Even when I was working mornings and getting up really early, he would have gas in that car. There's just he does the dishes. He will vacuum the house. He does all of these other things.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I don't get that, he is this whole other person.
He makes up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just still would like to have. I do always remember this story, though. This was a long, long, long time ago. A friend of mine, she and I are both the same age, and we both turned 40 within the same month. And her husband had a huge surprise party for her. And they even had a video camera, and he presents her with this big bouquet of flowers, and it's this big hoo-ha. And of course, my birthday come and goes, and it was just like meh. you know? So I was very hurt by that. And I kept thinking about my friend who had this great celebration. Her husband had given her this big surprise. Well, they were divorced within the year.
Oh.
The other couple, he'd been cheating on her. And
Oh.
so my husband always says, let that be a lesson to you. Let that be a lesson to you. So, yeah, it doesn't always have to be the big fanfare, right? But
Right.
that is really sweet that he brought you those flowers on the airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was happy.
yeah, pretty cool. Pretty
And
cool.
I got to go to the Delta Sky Lounge, which I had never gone in there. So then we had free champagne with blackberries in it.
Okay,
Mhm.
now, yeah, the
Lovely.
the whole blackberry thing in the champagne glass is
Yeah.
like, a step above.
Yep. We were
Wow.
fancy.
So you did go to Nashville for your birthday. That
Yeah.
that seems to be like the big destination for you kids these days is
Yeah,
to go
but
to Nashville.
we're not good at like going to like Broadway where everyone goes to drink. We don't really make it out there because my friend, she lives, she used to live in East Nashville, which is more like hipster area,
Yeah.
hipster and LGBTQ plus area. So we mostly just go to those bars because they're cheaper and they're chiller. Like we don't need the wild crazy.
You know what? And I think there's a sort of expectation to be wild and crazy at those other places that are kind
Mhm.
of destination-y kind of places.
Right.
Yeah. But I heard that Nashville, like if you're getting married, that is where it's the girls, where the women who stand up for the wedding. What do you
The
call it?
bachelorette party.
Bachelorette. That's what I was
Mhm.
thinking. The bachelorette party.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is where you go. That is the destination these days for bachelorette parties.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're back in one piece, Danielle.
I did it.
And kudos to the boyfriend. Good for him.
Yeah.
He sounds like a keeper. You
Yep.
too, Beth Ann, that's for sure. So does your dad, but I guess your mom already knows that he's a keeper. So that's good. All right, when we come back, Mayor Mary Sheffield has her very first State of the City address coming up tonight. You'll be able to hear it live, hear it here on WJR starting at 8:00. And we want to know more about the expectations for this important speech for State of the City. We'll have that when we come back here on JR Afternoon.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Catch the Michigan Opportunity, an economic development series featuring candid conversations with business leaders and innovators across Michigan. Every Saturday night at 11 p.m. on the Michigan Opportunity, you'll hear firsthand accounts on how the state is driving job growth and business investment, supporting a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem, building vibrant communities, and helping to attract and retain one of the most diverse and talented workforces. The Michigan Opportunity, Saturdays at 11 p.m., sponsored by the MEDC.
Our Representative Tom Barrett is standing up for radio listeners like us by supporting legislation to keep AM radio in cars. He knows the value of local radio in times of emergency. Now it's time for Congress to finish the job and pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Learn more at dependonam.com. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Traffic alert for Novi. There's construction on Novi Road limiting traffic to southbound only for the next 6 months. It's going to be a challenge, but good news. Local favorites like Guernsey Farms Dairy are still open and ready to serve. Access businesses from the north, and when you leave, just follow the posted detours with southbound traffic. Don't let the construction stop you. Plan ahead, because honestly, a little Guernsey Farms Dairy ice cream might be just what you need to make that road work a whole lot easier to deal with. Support local businesses and drive safe.
That's the Guernsey difference. WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Text Now.
Other wireless carriers tell you when to pay. Text Now asks, what do you need? It's app-first phone service without commitments, credit checks, or carrier attitude. Built for people who stopped asking for permission. Download today.
That accident on I-275 southbound to I-94 has cleared. Your exit ramp is now free. Northbound Southfield Freeway between I-96 and Grand River Avenue. We have some slowdowns there. M59 eastbound between M53 and Shanner Road. Looking a bit sluggish. We still have that construction project blocking your left lane. That's scheduled to wrap up by 3 p.m. And keep in mind the southbound Southfield Freeway is closed between Schoolcraft and I-96. We've got stop traffic from McNichols there. Traffic is being directed off onto the service drive due to police activity. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Active weather alerts up for southern Michigan this afternoon. Stay weather aware. Storm Prediction Center's flag us at risk for pockets of strong and severe storms, including isolated tornadoes today. Near 70 degrees this afternoon with storms up from the southwest, some with heavy downpours, 1.5 inch rains. Colder tonight, 37. Cloudy tomorrow, 42. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore at the Weather Channel on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Don't miss Detroit Mayor Mary Sheffield's first State of the City address. It's Tuesday night at 8 on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
As you just heard from our Mark Blackwell, Mayor Mary Sheffield set to deliver her first State of the City address. It'll be tonight at Mumford High School. And of course, all eyes will be on her as she makes this speech tonight. So many expectations in so many ways. We wanted to get the insight of Mario Moro, President and CEO of Mario Moro and Associates. Hi, Mario. So glad you could join us. It's a busy afternoon for you, I know.
How are you? Good to talk to you, Marie.
Yeah, I'm great, and thank you so much for taking time to share your thoughts about all this. So here we have the first woman to be delivering this speech, first Black woman, obviously, to be delivering this speech as mayor of the city of Detroit. So many expectations. What's the number one thing in your mind that she's got to convey to city residents tonight?
You know, it's so hard for someone who's only been in office for 3 months to give the state of the city or state of the state or state of whatever and try to deliver promises or talk about successes, which is, you know, one of those unfair dealings that a person of her position has to deal with. So I kind of think that, number one, she's going to talk about what she promised on the campaign trail and what she's planning on getting accomplished in the next 4 years. She's already started. She had a great start. She's made some major announcements. And I think, number one, she's been talking about affordability and housing and reducing crime. And I think those are the types of things that we're going to hear from her this evening.
So last fall, there was a U of M study that found crime or safety as the number one challenge facing the city of Detroit. In fact, 1 in 5 households identified that. But at the same time, most said they didn't think having more police would help the problem. So Mayor Sheffield has got to get creative on this front. If crime and safety is such an important topic and concern for the residents, she's got to get creative. It's not just like, okay, we'll just hire more police officers, find some money, and we'll do that. She's got to outline some real solid ideas tonight in this area.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, crime is always an issue. Crime has gone down in the city of Detroit over the past 4.5, 5 years. And I'm talking major crimes. You know, we still have a problem with petty crimes, the smaller crimes, the misdemeanors, not your huge felonies. And people want to have these situations solved. And you do that by a variety of different ways. And I think she's going to spell that out. You talk about community involvement, community first, talk about education, and you talk about everybody getting some buy-in. And of course, people always push back on increasing police and police presence. But when you come into a problem in your home and in your neighborhood, the first number you're going to call is 911, and you want the police to respond immediately. So you're right. It's a balancing act. She's got a great police chief in Todd Bedison, and I think she's going to rely on him and his team heavily to solve some of these problems that we have before us.
When she was campaigning, she did talk a lot about how, the downtown area looks great and there's all this development and all that's happening, but that the many of the neighborhoods were still suffering. And I mean, you can see that with your own eyes.
Mhm.
I work here in the city of Detroit, and so you know it, you see it. So how is she going to keep her promise to the neighborhoods, but at the same time, she still has to continue with this development and this upsurge in energy in the downtown area?
Hey, I think everyone, with conventional wisdom understands the fact that you cannot have a developed neighborhood without a developed downtown. And simply because of the tax base, you need big businesses to spend money, pay taxes,
Mhm.
bring people in to invest in the city. But at the same time, if the communities aren't benefiting, then, it's all for naught. And that is probably, in my opinion, the toughest balancing act. And that's, I think, where that buy-in comes in, where she's going to probably do a lot of community conversations, community involvement with the block clubs, the community organizations, those presidents and those leaders to just work with them and say it's going to take some time. Listen, Marie, every single mayor since Coleman Young, since I've been around,
Mhm.
has talked about community development, community uplifting, neighborhood involvement, and we always get caught in this funnel, this vacuum of, okay, can you really have both ends of the stick, a great community and a great downtown, and not just focus on business or not just focus on community? That is a tough balancing act. Listen, she's just got in. We've got to give her some time, and I think that she's got the administration, the people around her, and she's got some great ideas. And I think that we've got to give her some time to figure this out.
Maybe, I don't know, in my view, one of her biggest challenges is schools, literacy. She has limited power, of course, over all this, but that is a problem that is impacting our city. We're talking about low academic achievement, the high rates of students missing too much school. I mean, we last year I did a whole series of reports about
Mhm.
absenteeism in the Detroit school system and how that's leading to these abysmal literacy rates. So, and of course, they're dealing with extreme poverty, housing instability, transportation problems. These are all things that are in this vortex of this issue. Um, I just seem to think that if she can make headway on this problem, on this issue, she may end up being quite a successful mayor. Your thoughts on
I
that?
agree with you 100, 1000%. Being a career educator myself, being trained in education, both my degrees are in education, coming from Detroit Public Schools. Matter of fact, she's giving her speech at my alma mater, Mumford High School, which I'm very
Mumford.
proud of. Yeah, go Mustangs, right? So I think that education is key. I read something earlier, I heard something that she's going to mention something about early childhood and doing something within the rec centers, I believe, to help start early and make sure that these problems are solved, because the illiteracy rate is still very, very high. We
Mm.
have a lot of families who English is a second language. You can't, go into a school environment and learn English in the daytime. At night, you're not speaking English. There's a lot of situations that the mayor doesn't have control over. But if she builds a partnership with Detroit Public Schools, and also the charter schools in this city, and maybe even the private schools, to build a coalition of success and achievement, because we're in this situation now, Marie, that we're all in these different factions. Like, nope, you can't touch the schools, you have no
Yeah.
power over it, or the schools can't do this, you can't do anything with transportation, because you don't have the funding. We have got to learn to work together. And I think we're in a position now with a young mayor, a very smart mayor, that we can all work together and try to figure this and solve these problems together. It's not about a takeover, because I know about mayors who want to take over public school systems, but this is about making sure that our children and our parents are successful for the future.
Mary Sheffield. You know her pretty well, I think. I've never met her.
Right.
I never had the
I know her.
pleasure.
Yep.
Yep, never had the pleasure of meeting her. When I see her in action, though, I see something that she does that I think it might be the secret sauce. We'll see. I don't know. She seems to have a very special way of connecting with people one on one. I see it when she talks with children, or that if there's children around, or elderly residents, or just that certain something that she has when she talks to people one on one. Is that for real?
It is for real. She's a people's person. I've known her for a long time. I've watched her grow, actually, from a young lady to a powerful woman right now.
Yeah.
And I think if she continues, it's genuine. It comes from her family upbringing. You're going to see more of that. And I think that people are going to love to have a very connected mayor to help them through the successes of the city of Detroit.
Well, everybody's going to be watching tonight. Mario Moro, President CEO of Mario Moro and Associates. Always a pleasure to talk with you. Have a great afternoon.
Always enjoy talking to you.
Thank
you so much.
And we'll continue here on JR Afternoon.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
Join Jack Razula every Saturday night at 10 p.m. for Anything is Possible. Hear Jack present uplifting stories of some of the world's most remarkable people and their extraordinary life journeys. Anything is Possible. Sponsored in part by Ideal Group. We are Ideal. Your morning is busy, so we'll keep it brief. Upgrade your routine with WJR's 5 Things First Thing. JR Morning with Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie break down the top 5 stories in just 5 minutes. Delivered straight to your device. Start your day by hitting play. Subscribe today on the always free WJR app.
We started Henyon & Walsh for people like you. People with integrity, honesty, and loyalty. The result? We care about you and your investment success. We're dedicated to your financial goals, so we'll always give you our best efforts because you've earned it. We're Henyon & Walsh and committed to you. Get a second opinion. Call 800-279-5279 or find us online. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Henyon & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henyon & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
News, I'm John Saucier. President Trump is once again calling for other countries to get involved in reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth claims the responsibility should not just be on the United States to keep that strait open.
Last time I checked, there was supposed to be a big bad Royal Navy that could be prepared to do things like that as well. So he's pointing out this is an international waterway that we use less than most. In fact, dramatically less than most.
Gas prices in the U.S. reaching an average of $4 a gallon for the first time since 2022. NASA is scheduled to launch 4 astronauts towards the moon tomorrow, part of the Artemis 2 mission. Senior test director Jeff Spaulding says the team's looking forward to this launch.
People are excited and ready to go on this first chapter on our way back to the moon since the 1970s.
Now, the launch has been delayed for months now because of malfunctions and other issues. The astronauts will actually fly around the moon and then back as part of the mission with no lunar landing plan until 2028. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
We've got some moving roadwork blocking your left lane on M59 eastbound between M53 and Shanner Road. That's scheduled until 3 p.m. More construction on I-75 southbound between Mack Avenue and Clark Street. That should be done in about 15 minutes. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Potential for severe thunderstorms today, otherwise overcast with a high of 72. Thunderstorms early for tonight. Cloudy skies after midnight with a low of 37. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Detroit fans, the Lions are returning to international play and you have to be there.
True Fan Travel is taking game day to the next level with the ultimate Germany experience.
Picture this, an all-inclusive, stress-free trip to cheer on Detroit and Munich.
You can join my friend Lomas Brown in Deutschland for a 5-night unforgettable fan experience.
Authentic German culture, exclusive fan events, and plenty of time to explore the country's dynamic city and historic charm.
From world-class beer gardens and traditional cuisine to iconic landmarks and electric football energy.
True Fan Travel will handle it all. Your flight, hotel, game tickets, tailgate, meet and greet, and more.
Take your fandom further and place your deposit today for Detroit in Munich at truefantravel.com.
That's truefantravel.com.
Hey there, JR listeners. Chris Alberta from Principium. Look, I have an urgent message for you today about your retirement. I don't care if you already retired, you're a few months away, or you're a few years away. You're going to be unemployed soon. And you probably don't have a pension because you are your pension. Recent all-time highs in the market. Look, you're at the top of the mountain. And now we're in an Iranian conflict. AI might replace your job. And like it or not, you could be retired as long as you were working. But despite all that, is the best time I have ever seen in my career to build you a retirement plan. The fixed rates are unbelievably good. Income models are killing it. You combine that with top-notch market management, and you're going to win. If you wait, you will lose. These rates will go down. You remember the 4% rule? My clients are using the 7% rule. They'll always have a paycheck, and that's freedom. Don't wait. Call me now, 888-800-8949. Call me, Chris Alberta, 888-800-8949.
Lanier in transition, hits the three, and a sign of life from Knoxville. Plant driving right. Lob from Brazil and a two-hand slam. 6 on the clock. Now with 5. He drives on Maddox. Right elbow and 3. Spin to the foul line. Jumper up and it rattles in at the buzzer.
Don't miss any of this year's action on the road to the Final Four with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the men's NCAA tournaments.
Sponsored by Tryon. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
Wake up tomorrow with JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR. Right now, it's JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermani, with Marie Osborne sitting in.
And welcome back, everyone. The FBI said a man who attacked Temple, Israel earlier this month was motivated by ideology aligned with Hezbollah, a designated terror group. Jennifer Runyon, the special agent in charge of the FBI Detroit field office, says the evidence shows the attacker was motivated, inspired by Hezbollah's militant ideologies. And we heard that press conference live right here on WJR yesterday afternoon. Andy Arena, former FBI special agent in charge of the Detroit division and current executive of the Detroit Crime Commission, joins us to talk a little bit about the findings in that report. Welcome, Andy. Always a pleasure to have you on board.
Hey, Marie. Good afternoon.
Hi. So were you surprised by any of the findings that were disclosed yesterday by the FBI?
Not one bit. I kind of expected it, to be honest with you. And I think that, you have people who are part of a terrorist organization, the actual members, and there are those who are inspired, right? They support it. And, I think what the report showed yesterday is this is an individual who, from what he was searching, what he was reading, what he was following, what he was posting was certainly at least inspired by Hezbollah.
So bring us into the investigation, if you will, because you were part of this for a long time. So how does the FBI come to the conclusions that it does? Obviously, they did a lot of forensic work online. They did a lot of interviews. How did that all, when Special Agent Runyon laid that all out, it was so easy to understand, point A, B, C, all the way down. How does that all come together?
Well, you just said it. It's basically they're looking at his friends and his family and anybody he's dealt with, where he's worked. So there's the physical interviews of people who were close to him. There's search warrants of his house. And so what physically was in his house, what was in his car. storage facilities, things like that. And then probably today, what we see most important is the digital footprint. So what is he looking at online? What is he following? What is he posting? Who is he following? Those types of things. And I think that, you put that all together and it really paints the picture of these individuals and really what motivates them. And I always say this, Marie, when we have these incidents happen, we want answers, right? We live in the television age where, the crime is solved in less than an hour, right? That's just not how it really works. And you have to do this. You have to be thorough. And it may take days or weeks to really paint a really thorough picture of an individual.
Actually, I was surprised. This incident happened on March 12th. Yesterday was March 30th, and that they had, I was really surprised that they had that all together and as thoroughly as they did as of yesterday, enough to have a press conference and disclose all that information.
Yeah, and I think this individual too, Marie, there was the whole overseas aspect, right? So
yes,
his contacts in Lebanon, so that certainly I think took a little bit longer. But yeah, I agree with you. This is really good work by the FBI, and this is really how it's supposed to be done.
So this perpetrator held down a job in our community. He's from Dearborn Heights. He was divorced, but he had community contacts. So there were people, his neighbors, there were friends, there were people around him. How is it that no one saw that this person was headed in this direction? Or do you think they saw it and looked the other way? We're all hoping we don't want this to happen again. So how did this not get reported? I guess I want to ask.
Well, some people hide things very well. I mean, we see that. They tend to go down the road, and as time goes by, they get more and more agitated. But a lot of times, just we ignore things, and I think it's kind of human nature. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to report it. Maybe he's just going through a tough time. The old adage, if you see something, say something. I think that's really, that kind of drives home that point. So, I certainly don't want to guess as to the people's motives, but I think one of the things the FBI is certainly looking at, and I think it came out yesterday in that press release, they've not found anybody locally who was involved in this, but I don't think they've given that up either. I think that they'll still be looking at that.
Right. They said there were no co-conspirators, that he did act alone in this particular act. And it was only his ex-wife who called the police. And that was on the day of, when he made it very clear to her that what he had intentions of doing. So she's the one who came forward.
Yeah, and I think, as I said, a lot of us, I'm sure there were other people who saw things and maybe in hindsight are saying, I wish I would have said something. We see that a lot of time in these types of situations. People say, man, I wish I would have done something. I wish I would have said something, and then they kind of kick themselves. Certainly, if you see something, say something. But, were there people who supported him? That's always a possibility.
And so in saying that, I wondered, look, there are a lot of people who are sympathetic to Hezbollah. Let's be honest. There are people who are supportive of Hezbollah or sympathetic to the cause. There are maybe even they provide financial support. Who knows? But they don't go this far. So what is it that clicks in an individual? I'm sure the FBI has some ideas and has some research on what makes a person click from somebody who's just maybe sympathetic to an idea and one who will act in violence for their beliefs.
So you're exactly right, Marie. There are people who do support Hezbollah. I used to have this conversation all of the time when I was in the FBI. And, my reaction always was, look, I'm not a politician. They are a designated terrorist organization. And if you support them, you're breaking the law. Now, there's obviously the First Amendment. You can say things, you can look at things, but where do you cross the line?
Right.
Is it materials, what's called material support? So is it financial? Are you sending them equipment? Are you going to a training camp? Just basic, but just saying that you support them, that's not breaking the law. There is a line, and unfortunately people do cross it. And we've seen it here in Metro Detroit. Several cases where people have gone to jail for material support.
So, but the violence aspect of this, that this person went out and ordered these plastic gasoline or water containers from online, and when they arrived, he went to the gas station, different gas stations, and fill. I mean, that action is just a far cry from saying, "Yeah, I guess I support those people." Those are like two different things, and I just always wonder what pushes a person over that edge to do that.
Yeah, I think there's different, obviously, very different levels of support. I mean, this guy took it to the far extremes, obviously. But what was going on in his life? I mean, what was going on in the Middle East? Or, you had family that were killed. I'm
Yeah.
sure that was at the end of the day, that was probably the tipping point. But I think one thing that I did take away from that press conference yesterday was, yeah, that did happen, and I'm sure that may have been the tipping point. But this guy's um, his following of Hezbollah, his inspiration predated uh,
Yes.
his family members being killed. So this is not something he didn't. That's not what triggered his support, his inspiration. That may just have triggered this violent action.
No, they went back. I think it was a year that, over a year that he had been into, looking at this material and so forth. Is this investigation, tell us, as far as the FBI is concerned, do you think this investigation is just closed up, done, or will there be more investigating here? And will this maybe lead to other investigations within the Southeast Michigan area?
So I think what I would, to answer your question, it's probably no. Maybe this one particular aspect, they're still looking at. But were there people he was in contact with online? If they were, if they find that, I'm sure it's going to lead to additional investigations.
Yeah, and perhaps more information on that. Andy Arena, former FBI special agent in charge of the Detroit Division, current executive director of the Detroit Crime Commission. Thank you so much for your insights here. You were in this job. You know what it's like. You know what it takes. Thank you so much for your insights today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Marie. Have a good one.
And we will. And when we come back, what's it like to honor a great teacher? One local university is finding out, and we'll have that story when we come back.
No matter where you look, rising costs are hitting Michiganders hard. When you're forced to make tough choices, keeping the lights and heat on shouldn't be one of them. Consumers Energy is stepping up, giving back $5 million to assistance agencies and supporting efforts to increase energy assistance dollars for families in need by 50%. And with personalized energy saving programs, you can take steps to start reducing your energy bills today. Count on Consumers Energy for support. Learn more at consumersenergy.com/help.
The highest performing school facilities start with premier architectural design. Wakely Associates is an architectural firm that has been serving Michigan educational communities since 1951. Whether designing for new or renovation of current facilities, Wakely is focused on designing high-performing educational spaces. This experience is invaluable to K-12 school districts looking to pass bond issues. Engage Wakely Associates architects to examine your district's needs. Details at wakelyaia.com. That's wakelyaia.com.
I didn't switch to Pure Talk just because I wanted to save 50% off the same 5G service I've been paying twice as much for. I switched because I like the idea of being in business with a wireless company that supports our veterans in a meaningful way. Pure Talk also creates American jobs every day by keeping their entire operation in this country. I appreciate that. If you feel the same, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
2 words, prostate exam. Did your butt just clench? Relax. Screening starts with a simple, finger-free blood test. Around 1 in 8 men in the United States will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. But don't clench. Prostate cancer can have over a 99% 5-year relative survival rate when caught at a localized or regional stage. If you're 40 or older and have a prostate, visit relaxitsabloodtest.com to see if a PSA blood test is right for you. Talk to your doctor about screening and next steps. Sponsored by Novartis.
This Friday is opening day. Be sure to tune into WJR Morning and All Talks coverage sponsored by Groundworks, Skyworks Equipment Rental, and Nika. Hear from past and present Detroit sports legends and decision makers making the day special. It's Friday only on 760 WJR.
Finding excuses to not do your taxes? Unsure where to start? Sounds like you may be suffering from FOMO, the fear of messing up. The cure? Filing your federal and state taxes for free using TurboTax on Credit Karma. All you have to do is start and finish filing on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Just keep in mind, this offer is available only if you didn't file with TurboTax last year. It's time to break free from your fear of messing up. Start filing for free today in the Credit Karma app.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Pro-Life Across America.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
Southbound Southfield Freeway closed between Schoolcraft and I-96 due to police activity. We've got stop traffic from McNichols. Traffic is being directed off onto the service drive. Some construction slowing you down on the Jeffries eastbound between I-275 and Levan Road. That project's going to be there until late April. And we do have some moving road work blocking your left lane on M59 eastbound between M53 and Shaner Road. That moving work crew is scheduled until 3 p.m. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Bumpy ride today. Storm Prediction Center's flagged us at risk for pockets of strong or severe storms, hail-producing storms, high wind, heavy rain, even isolated tornadoes for southern Michigan today. Near 70 degrees. Stay weather aware this afternoon as severe storms are likely this afternoon. 37 our low tonight, cloudy tomorrow, high 42. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria. More at the Weather Channel on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
And we are back. Glad you could join us on this Tuesday afternoon. So a lot of us have memories of one particular teacher who made a difference in our lives. It might have been an elementary school teacher or maybe a college professor who really stimulated your mind and helped you to become the person that you are today. And for hundreds of students at the University of Detroit Mercy, that professor is Dr. Roy Finkenbein. He joins us today here on WJR. This spring marks the retirement of Roy Finkenbein, professor of history and the department coach here at the University of Detroit Mercy. Following nearly 3 decades of dedicated service, he joined the faculty in 1996. He has shaped the academic lives of countless of students, and his work has been published in Time, The Atlantic, Washington Post, USA Today. Op-eds have appeared nationally. He's even in the process of completing a book. So we'd like to welcome into the show Dr. Roy Finkenbein. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Marie, it's good to be here.
So much of your work has focused on bringing the African-American story to life, talking about slave resistance, the Civil War era, the modern Africa, Underground Railroad. So why is this area of study? Why did you pick this area of study for you?
Well, I could say it picked me. I had teachers and professors that also inspired me, and it seems that the ones that did that were at least somewhat in the areas that I ended up, focusing on. I think the other thing was, I came of age in the 60s, early 70s. It was the era of the civil rights movement, Black Power, and a whole range of those kinds of things that made up the Black freedom struggle. And, when we got our Life magazine every month and opened it, there were those 2-page black and white photos of things like Bloody Sunday, or there was, Walter Cronkite on the evening news with film footage of marches and protests and sit-ins and freedom rides. And so I think a combination of the teachers that inspired me, but the historical moment I grew up in inspired me as well.
So you also thought it was important for your students in this past 3 decades of your teaching that you lead immersion trips into the civil rights landmarks. So, what was the importance of your students actually being in the spot? Being in the room where it happened, as they like to say on Broadway.
Well, I think it gave them a deeper perspective, and it wasn't just the places we went to, but the fact that on many occasions we were able to listen to and touch base with people who had been participants when they were young. And the combination of all of that just made the history of this era that much more real and inspiring for the students that went south with I and my colleague Greg Sumner for 3 years. And it added to that was the fact that a lot of students are from the Metro Detroit area, and it's surprising how many of them have never been to the South other than maybe Disney World. And so this was new stuff for them. And I will say it was, even for our African American students that went, who are now maybe the grandchildren of people who came north to places like Detroit during the Great Migration. They had not been south. They had not encountered the region and seen its history firsthand. And I will say that there was a combination of wide eyes, sometimes fright, because they didn't know what we were getting into, and I think some inspiration there too. Student after student came away and said, gee, this was the best experience we had. And to be honest, Greg and I like music, like good food, and so barbecue, Stax records, and other things had to be part of the experience.
Yeah, so there was some fun involved, right?
Right.
So we're in a period of history right now where historical facts, especially often those concerning African American history and contributions to our country, are being like rewritten. In some cases, they're being erased. What are your feelings about that, and how do you talk to your students about our moment in time right now?
Well, in fact, I've written op-eds about this, but some people don't like being made uncomfortable by history. They like a very sanitized look at America, and America is a great place, but we're also human, and we have things in our history like the decimation and dispossession of Native Americans, slavery, segregation, a whole host of things that we have had to work towards overcoming, and we are still working towards overcoming the residue of that. And I think some people, particularly some in political power, simply do not want to be made uncomfortable because it doesn't fit with their kind of sanitized version of history. As an instructor, I was going to say, I work to make students uncomfortable because I think it's through discomfort that we can learn.
I was just going to ask you, what are the dangers? And I think you might have just answered that. What are the dangers of not presenting history in a clear light, the good, the bad, and the ugly
Right.
together? What are the dangers in that? And I think you might have even expressed some of that just now.
Well, I think there are a lot of dangers, and one of them is, at best, we get stuck in a place and don't continue to fight for that more perfect union. The greater fear is we'll take, and this sometimes does happen with social struggles, social improvements, we could take 1, 2, 3 steps backward. And for people like myself who grew up during a period of tremendous change and improvement in race relations, for example, that's unacceptable. We can only get better as a nation as we learn about and then confront the social evils that still remain.
Less than a minute here. This is radio after all, so we move quickly, not like history. But very quickly, what's your favorite historical spot here in Southeast Michigan? Do you have one?
You know, I do, and I think because of what I study, particularly the Underground Railroad,
Yeah.
it's the Detroit River. That is the conduit to freedom for thousands and thousands of freedom seekers that came north. And once they glimpsed Canada, at a point where the United States was essentially a place of bondage for them, and even in Michigan, which didn't have slavery, the federal law allowed them to be captured and taken back southward.
Yeah.
Detroit River was a major symbol.
A very complicated history. Dr. Roy Finkenbein, professor of history at the Department of University of Detroit Mercer, retiring this year. They love you so much there that they're setting up a scholarship fund in your name. And we're going to put that information about that scholarship fund at WJR.com. Congratulations on a career well done, Dr. Finkenbein, and much success to you in your retirement. I have a feeling you're not going to stop teaching. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. And I'm so honored by what they are doing for me.
I bet. Thanks, everyone. And we'll be right back here on JR Afternoon. We have a scam to tell you about from Amazon. You're going to want to hear all about it. It's up next here on JR.
Hi, friends. Bill Golling here to tell you about the Declaration of Deals sales event going on all March long at Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Right now, qualified Chrysler employees with lease loyalty can lease a 2026 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 from our CTP fleet for just $289 a month. Leases for 27 months, 10,000 miles a year with $2,000 down, plus tax title plates and Dakar Extra. That's Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Roseville, Chelsea, or our newest location on Mac in Detroit, are always at Golling.com.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. I'm Adam Devine, Chief Fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. We'll fun it up. It better be fun. Have you ever wondered how our network actually works? Oh, wonder no more. With the support of partnering businesses and individual donors, we help raise crucial funds for 170 children's hospitals across the United States and Canada. Hospitals that provide life-changing care for all kids. Visit us online at cmn.org.
760 WJR.
Continue targeting government and regime sites.
Iranian officials, of course, say there are many civilians also being caught up in these attacks. Iran continues, of course, to hit back, targeting Tel Aviv and other parts of Israel.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Tel Aviv. Iran also hitting a Kuwaiti oil tanker anchored off Dubai today. An American journalist has been kidnapped in Iraq. Shelley Kittleson taken in Baghdad. One suspect is in custody, but a second vehicle got away. A federal judge is ordering the Trump administration to reinstate legal status for migrants who were allowed to enter the U.S. using the CPB One app under President Biden. The judge says terminating their status exceeded Homeland Security's authority. Tomorrow, the Supreme Court hears arguments on the president's effort to limit birthright citizenship.
At issue specifically the part of the 14th Amendment written after the Civil War, which states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside.
Fox's David Spunt. The president argues automatic like citizenship should not apply to babies whose parents are in the U.S. illegally or have only temporary legal status. Opponents say that runs counter to decades of precedent. President Trump's effort to end federal funding for public broadcasting is blocked by a federal judge, just ruling the right to free speech does not tolerate viewpoint discrimination. U.S. District Judge Randolph Moss in D.C. calling the president's executive order unlawful and unenforceable. The president has accused NPR and PBS of being biased in favor of Democrats. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting has said it will take steps to shut itself down. America is listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
Southbound Southfield Freeway closed between Grand River Avenue and I-96 due to police activity. We've got traffic stopped from 7 Mile there. Traffic is being directed off onto the service drive. Construction slowing you down on the Jeffries in both directions between I-275 and Levan Road. I-96 eastbound, your off-ramp to southbound Southfield Freeway also blocked. Same goes for the westbound side as well. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Potential for severe thunderstorms today. Otherwise overcast, a high of 72. Thunderstorms early for tonight. Cloudy skies after midnight, a low of 37. Cloudy and cooler for Wednesday. We're going to drop down to 41 degrees as a high. Partly cloudy right now, 70 degrees. I'm Rich Fluzensky, WJR traffic and weather first.
Hey, gang, it's Ryan Armani. I want to tell you about my friends at Game Day Men's Health in Plymouth. Have you made the call yet? What are you waiting for? I've been working with them since mid-October, and in that time, and I mean this, I've never felt better in my adult life. I've lost over 30 pounds thanks to them. I'm using them for weight loss, but they specialize in personalized, science-backed men's health treatments, testosterone replacement, peptides, medical weight loss, all designed specifically for men. At Game Day Men's Health in Plymouth, it is more than just an online point-and-click transaction. These are real people delivering real results. Every treatment plan customized to meet your specific needs. Do yourself a favor. Call them today. A complimentary consultation, 734-927-1718. That number again, 734-927-1718. Game Day Men's Health on Ann Arbor Road in Plymouth.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Say hello to another great voice. This is JR Afternoon with Ryan Armani on 760 WJR with Marie Osborne sitting in.
And what a pleasure that you are along with us this afternoon, hopefully listening to us on your radio. But hey, you can also join us on YouTube this afternoon, 760 WJR. Ryan loves the YouTube, loves it. So we are happy to be on board with it as well. Please join us on YouTube. We'd love to see you, and you can see us. Beth Ann Long, our producer, alongside Danielle Mason, our engineer this afternoon, back from a big holiday birthday weekend. She's still in one piece, we're happy to report. So she's back with us today as well. Lots happening this afternoon. We're going to bring you up to date on a couple of breaking stories this afternoon. A federal judge has just ruled that President Trump's order ending NPR and PBS funding was unconstitutional. We're just getting that as breaking news this afternoon, and we will get more on that coming up as more information becomes available on that. But at least that's what we're hearing right now. Federal judge rules that the president's order on ending NPR and PBS funding was unconstitutional. We were talking about eyes being on the State of the City address tonight for the first State of the City address by Mary Sheffield. All eyes are going to be on Cape Canaveral tonight, right? Or tomorrow night. NASA has begun the countdown for humanity's first launch to the moon in 53 years. A lot of us remember the first go around, so we're very excited about this one. So, this is a 32-story space launch system rocket. It's going to be blasting off Wednesday evening with 4 astronauts. And right now, it looks like the weather's not at all going to be a problem. If they have any problems, it might be technical, which of course can happen. But it does not appear like weather's going to be any kind of issue tomorrow night for this. Um, so, after a day in orbit around the Earth, their Orion capsule will propel them to the moon and back. There are no stops, just a quick U turn around the moon. It's a 10-day flight. It'll end with a splashdown in the Pacific. The launch director is Charlie Blackwell Simpson Thompson, and he says that they've worked really hard to get this at this moment. All the indications are right that we are now in excellent shape. The manager said the rocket is doing well, following some test round of repairs. And again, the forecasters are saying that the weather is going to be pretty good. So this is NASA's Artemis 2 mission. It should have taken off in February, but it was grounded because of a concerning hydrogen fuel leak. The leaks were filled, but then a helium pressurization line got clogged. So they had to return that to the hangar late last month. The rocket returned to the pad about a week and a half ago, and it's a U.S. and a Canadian crew. There's 3 Americans, 1 Canadian. And unlike Apollo, which sent only men to the moon in 1968 through 1972, Artemis's debut crew includes a woman, a person of color, and a non US citizen. So everybody's pretty excited about this. It's supposed to launch, I think I heard tomorrow in the 6 o'clock hour, the 6 p.m. hour tomorrow. So lots of people are going to be having eyeballs on that. Again, for those of us that remember, the Apollo missions and the moon landing in real time. This is a throwback to our childhood and the excitement that really came with that. We often talk about how the space shuttle missions just became so run of the mill almost. They would blast off, they'd come back. You may or may not note them in news coverage. There would be coverage, but would it make the top 10 stories of the day? Sometimes not. So this one's a big deal for many reasons, and their ultimate goal here is to put a landing base, a lunar base on the moon, a moon base where astronauts will be able to travel then to other planets, primarily Mars. So ultimately, that's what they're going after. This one, they're just sending them in an orbit around the moon and back. Want to see if they still know the way, I guess. Okay. I don't know if anybody here is a Jeopardy fan. I don't know if anybody watches Jeopardy. I love Jeopardy. We watch it all the time. It doesn't mean I can answer many of the questions, but sometimes we make a good round of it. And, if I ever get the double Jeopardy question or the final Jeopardy question, then there's no living with me for the next 24 hours. And that's happened on occasion. But anyway, we have a Detroit native that is just tearing up the joint on Jeopardy these days. He's now a 12-time Jeopardy winner. We're talking about Detroit native Jamie Ding. He's going to be back tonight. He's looking for his 13th straight win. He's getting in the record books now. He lives in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. He's a 2009 graduate of Grosse Pointe North High School. And he won March 30th. His win made him the 16th of all time in Jeopardy winnings for regular play with $314,440. He answered in his entire tenure on Jeopardy 365 questions correctly, 28 of them incorrectly. So those are enormous odds. If you go to the jeopardyfan.com page, it's called the jeopardyfan.com. They have his stats there. There was one show where I don't think he got any questions wrong. He answered every question correctly. And so he's quite a player. I think he's destined for some much bigger things on Jeopardy. But again, his name is Jamie Ding, 2009 graduate of Grosse Pointe North High School. He's really making a lot of noise on Jeopardy. He goes in for his next appearance tonight. We'll see how he does. King Charles announcing he's going to make another state visit to the United States. It's going to happen in late April. This was announced by Buckingham Palace this morning. It's a high profile trip, obviously. The British government hoping it'll repair some of the tensions with the Trump administration. That's been really the relationship's kind of been damaged by the Iran war. Charles and his wife, Queen Camilla, will visit the U.S. This is a long planned trip to mark the 250th anniversary of that country's independence from British rule. The couple will also be paying a visit to Bermuda. This will be the first state visit by a British monarch since 2007, when Charles' mother, Queen Elizabeth, made what was her fourth such U.S. trip of her reign. Again, that was back in 2007. So a lot of people are looking forward to that. That's the end of April. King Charles and Queen Camilla are going to be making a trip to the United States. Tiger Woods. Little more info on Tiger Woods. Last Friday, he was involved in that rollover accident in Florida. So more being released about what happened that day. Tiger Woods' eyes were bloodshot and glassy. His pupils dilated when he had hydrocodone pills in his pocket when interviewed at the scene of his car crash last week in Florida. This is according to the sheriff's office. Hydrocodone pills, of course, a well-known painkiller, highly addictive. We also know that. The report also says his movements were slow and lethargic, and he was sweating as he talked to deputies and told them that he had taken prescription medication earlier in the morning and that he had looked down to consult his phone and was looking at the radio when this incident happened. So, but nonetheless, he was taken to jail, had to spend hours there, and was released. So we have a little more information on what happened during that time. All right, when we come back, the scammers keep scamming, and this time it's an Amazon scam. We want to tell you all about it. You might have received one on your phone. Don't click anything. That's the first bit of advice. We'll be talking to Susan Tompour when we come back.
A Social Security update. 70 million Americans collect Social Security benefits today, and millions more will join soon. Now, a new study finds 70% of Americans don't get the full benefits they deserve. But recipients can use simple strategies to boost Social Security benefits by as much as $188,000 over a lifetime. Social Security expert Michael Allen says it's true and reveals 5 key strategies to increase your benefits. It's all in his free special report from Newsmax. Newsmax, the report, your best guide for bigger Social Security benefits. Whether you're getting benefits or soon will, you need this Social Security report from Newsmax. Get it free. Call 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. We'll text it to you right away, along with President Trump's act cutting your Social Security taxes. Call now, 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. Text and data rates may apply.
America, does anybody really believe that Washington, especially Congress, is going to reduce the debt? They're not. In fact, nobody even talks about it anymore. That has a massive impact on the value of the dollar and the currency. And it's only a matter of time, in my humble opinion, that this is going to implode. If your retirement is mostly stocks and bonds, you may be taking a risk, more risk than you think. Now, look, diversification, that's what real experts talk about. It's a hedge against instability. Have you noticed precious metals, silver and gold, are having a spectacular bull run? Doesn't it make sense to get in it before the rocket takes off? My friends at Monetary Gold have been around since 2000, and they have the experience over more than a quarter of a century to help tailor your portfolio to your needs. If you call now and say Mark sent you, they will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD, 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk with The Vince Show.
It is a reflection of your response to this program that we get to take this thing to the next level. These gigantic shows. This is going to be so much fun. It's unbelievable.
In-depth interviews, live caller interactions, and a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day.
I've got updates. I've got big stories. We'll sort through the truth of what's really going on. So buckle up. Here it comes.
The Vince Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Awareness is a start, but acceptance creates change. This April, join fellow Michiganders for Autism Acceptance Month. Help build a world where everyone truly belongs. Take the next step at autism-mi.org. Accept, include, support.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by WeatherBug.
Get the fastest local alerts and accurate 24/7 forecasts with WeatherBug. It's easy to use and provides real-time customizable alerts so the weather never takes you by surprise. Plan every day with confidence. Download the free WeatherBug app from the App Store now.
We still have that construction on the Jeffries eastbound and westbound at I-275 between I-275 and Levan Road. Southbound Southfield Freeway still closed between Grand River Avenue and I-96 due to police activity. Looks like you're stopped from 7 Mile there. Traffic is being directed off onto the service drive. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Active weather alerts up for southern Michigan this afternoon. Stay weather aware. Storm Prediction Center's flag us at risk for pockets of strong and severe storms, including isolated tornadoes today. Near 70 degrees this afternoon with storms up from the southwest, some with heavy downpours, 1.5 inch rains. Colder tonight, 37. Cloudy tomorrow, 42. I'm meteorologist Scott Laurie. More at the Weather Channel on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Searching and searching up and down the dial for NCAA men's basketball. All the most important games from this week's giant matchup right down to the final game. What are you searching for? You're already there. The NCAA playoffs are here, courtesy of Westwood One on 760 WJR.
Okay, we are back. You might have received a text that sounds something like this. Your recent purchase needs to be returned immediately to Amazon. It's a recall for a safety review. It's not real. Don't fall for it. Susan Tompour, the personal finance columnist at the Detroit Free Press, is here to talk scammers impersonating Amazon and sending these fake text notices about recalls. Hi, Susan. Always a pleasure.
Oh, hi, Marie. It's good to talk with you as well. Yes, I haven't received this one yet personally, but I was having a conversation with the folks at the AARP Fraud Watch Network, and they alerted me to it. They were getting complaints from people, and Amazon has, an alert out on its website telling you that they're not sending you texts about recalls. But AARP said they've heard from consumers who say that some of these scammers are also impersonating Walmart and Costco and others. And in some of these texts, they're not really even telling you who the retailer is. They're just saying that you've got a product that's been recalled. What, of course, the scammers want to do is get your banking information. They'll tell you, give us this, and this is how you'll get a refund. Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't click. Don't click.
Don't click. Yeah. Don't click. Don't talk to them. There's all sorts of information online about real recalls. Walmart has a big online presence to tell you what's been recalled. I've got some websites listed in my column on some of the government websites on recalls. So, you really want to go back, do a little more research, do a little more digging. I'm not saying you never get a text, because in some cases there's always never a never, but in many cases companies are not texting you about, most cases companies are not texting you about recalls at this point. They might email you. You might get notices anyway. I know when you have a lot of cars with the recalls, with the cars where, we get letters on our recalls at home. I know a lot of people don't act on that, but that's always a good idea to do that. So, you want to pay attention to what's being recalled, of course, but you don't want to let the scammers trick you into thinking that you've got to just, oh my gosh, I just bought a sleep set for the baby and it's now, going to cause problems, flammable or choking threats or whatever.
What I think is interesting too, that these scammers are using Amazon, Walmart, Target. Look, all of us shop at those places, right? So they're sending that out, and chances are really good that they're going to hit on an Amazon customer or a Walmart customer, Target customer to act on this. Are these companies, is Amazon doing anything about
Well,
this?
Amazon does have an alert, and they say they would like people to tell them about this, and they're trying to work with authorities. It is hard to know how much is being done behind the scenes to fix some of these problems. I, obviously would like to see more done. Some of these scam rings, of course, are overseas, and it takes a lot more to crack down on them than perhaps we would like to imagine. Especially where some of this money is going. But yes, Amazon has said, that they've acknowledged that there's this increase of bad actors impersonating them, and they have some specifics online telling you what to do, and they're encouraging consumers to report these scams. AARP likes that as well, because sometimes when you're reporting them, it is possible that you're picking out a trend, and you might be alerting other people. I know I often hear from readers who say, well, you're putting out an alert, but that's really meaningless. It really should be, how this should be cracked down on. Well, that's true too, but if you lose the $200 because you didn't see an alert, or the $500 or more, sometimes it does help people to talk about these things and spread the word out in your communities that this is going on.
One of the things that we've learned here, we have to take cybersecurity training here at our company and many others, as most other people do these days. And one of the things that they always tell us to look out for, and I've noticed it with these scam text messages that I get on my own phone, and that is the sense of urgency. And that's usually the number one red flag to watch for.
Absolutely. Anybody who's trying to get you to stop thinking about, is this realistic or not? Nothing's that urgent anymore, really. Think about it.
No, no, no,
I mean,
no,
you could
no.
shop at night. The stores don't close. I don't know. You shop in the middle of the night online. There's nothing really that urgent. You can get to it later. So even the April 15th text deadline, you can get an extension on that. So
Yeah.
really, where's the urgency?
Right.
Right. So that is a number one clue. And also, take a little time. I know I talked to some consumers who look at where the email's coming from. They'll look at the area code that the text is coming from. Sometimes that's a good clue. Why would they be texting me from a foreign country about an Amazon purchase, that I made here from a retailer, that's local, or, a seller that's on Amazon that's
Yeah, yeah,
local.
yeah.
So, there are those other clues as well. But also another good one, anybody asks you for money, yeah, forget it, right? Just forget it.
Yeah, do not turn over your money. That is for sure.
But it's so easy. You hear from people, and they really do. They stir up a lot of the emotions. They convince you that they're real. A lot of people sound far more legitimate. They've worked on the psychology. They know our psychology. They can work you over. So don't get started with them.
Yeah, I like that term, work you over, like, they used to do on the street when they were
Right.
trying to steal your quarters back in the day, right? The same thing. Susan, has anything been done about I get so many scam, spam phone calls on my phone. I don't answer them. I've got them redirected, but I mean, when I tell you I must get 10, 15 of these a day. I
Oh
am
my.
not kidding. So what, I have, I'm not on that do not call list, I think is useless, but I'm on the do not call list. I have everything set on my phone to kind of, avoid these calls. But what's being done to stop that? And what can we do about it as consumers?
Well, the robocalls, there were some efforts made to stop robocalls, and there were some tougher rules on that. But in terms of the texts, I'm told that that's why some of the texts are taking over, because there are tougher rules on the robocalls. I think one thing that I've heard people say they do is, talk to or see what's available on with their carrier in
Mhm.
terms of cutting back on some of these. How do you filter them out? Maybe there's some extra filters that you don't know about with your carrier in terms of these scams. One thing was told recently in a conversation, and it makes a good deal of sense. Don't respond at all. There's one scam where it says, "Are we still on for lunch?" Okay.
Oh.
Or they'll say, I had one the other day. It was at 9:30 at night. "Are you still working?" And it was from a 202 area code. Wasn't quite sure, what that was about. It looks real, but once you respond to these texts, then they know your number is real. So that is a key thing to try to avoid doing. Don't respond, because then you're validating the number. Or some people engage and they'll say, "Oh, I know you're a scammer, so, just leave me alone." Well, you've just validated if you texted back
Yeah.
that this is a live number. So there are different things. But yeah, I agree with you. Much, much more needs to be done. It has to be taken a lot more seriously, because people, they're not just losing $50 or $60. Some people are losing their nest eggs, their retirement nest eggs. These things can really go.
Well, that's what I always worry about is people that are, you may have older parents, older neighbors, older people in your life that you really care for. And, they're not as savvy on the phones as some of the rest of us are. And I really worry about them falling for these scams, because here's the thing. The reason they do it is because they are getting money. If they didn't get any money, they wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, they're not your friends. I mean, they come off, as a romantic relationship, or they, try to appear that there's a friend, a new friend in your life. They're just really after your money, and it's really hard to convince somebody who's gone through that. It really, really is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very sad.
Yeah, absolute worth. Susan Tompour, personal finance columnist at the Detroit Free Press. Always a pleasure to talk to you. This is a new one. If you get a text saying that a recent purchase needs to be returned immediately, don't fall for it. Thank you, Susan.
Oh, thank you, Marie. Have a great day.
We always appreciate the heads up. And when we come back, 2 local women have started a nonprofit that's helping feed thousands of children. We'll tell you more about it when we come back.
Hey, Jim Harper here. Like many of you, I got LASIK surgery back in the 80s, and recently I started having trouble seeing, and it turns out they never told us LASIK doesn't last forever. So now what? Glasses? I haven't worn glasses in years, and I'm as vain as the next person. But then I remembered Mariana and the staff at Direct Optical Optique and how great they were at finding cool frames that look good on me, because they are frame stylists. You can't get that on the web or a big box store, and nobody has a bigger selection of designer frames than Direct Optical Optique. And Mariana still knows everybody by name. She's still selling cool glasses, one pair at a time, with a very personal touch. So if you wear glasses now or are wearing them again, you got to go to Direct Optical Optique and let them treat you like a star. They're the only ones who can do that. 2 great locations, Haggerty Road north of Maple and West Bloomfield, and in Canton on Ford Road next to IKEA. OptiqueDetroit.com on the web.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SUPREME to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SUPREME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SUPREME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
We're on Instagram at WJR Radio.
News. I'm Deborah Valentine. Over 4 weeks into Operation Epic Fury, as Fox's Jonathan Hunt reports, U.S. and Israel continue to strike Iranian targets.
We recently destroyed another one of their command bunkers. Leaders forced to flee. No water, no power, no oxygen, no command and control. Their faith in their caves diminishing.
War Secretary Pete Hegseth, their optimism surrounding potential peace talks with Iran are fueling today's stock market rally. The Dow up over 900 points. NASA's long-delayed Artemis 2 mission is set to blast off tomorrow from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Mark Berger is the launch weather officer.
Even if we have showers around, we have a 2-hour launch window, we should be able to shoot the gap between those showers, and none of these look particularly vigorous.
4 astronauts will fly around the moon and back as part of the mission. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Pro-Life Across America.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
Southbound Southfield Freeway closed between Grand River Avenue and I-96 due to police activity. We've got some stop traffic from 7 Mile. Traffic is being directed off onto the service drive. Still have that disabled vehicle on I-96 westbound at Kent Lake Road. Looks like that's blocking your left shoulder. You're slow from Milford Road. And more construction on the Lodge southbound between Glendale Street and Webb Street. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Potential for severe thunderstorms today, otherwise overcast, a high of 72. Thunderstorms early for tonight. Cloudy skies after midnight, a low of 37. Cloudy and cooler for Wednesday with a high of 41. Right now it's partly cloudy, 70 degrees. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Quality that's delicious, that's the Guernsey difference.
It's Jamie Edmonds. There's nothing like a day at the ballpark with the Detroit Tigers. The roar of the crowd, the smell of fresh cut grass, and now the taste of something truly special. Introducing Detroit's Grand Slam ice cream from Guernsey Farms Dairy, proud partner of the Tigers. Made with rich, creamy goodness and packed with hometown flavor, it's the perfect way to celebrate every inning, every hit, every home run. Heading to the game? Make sure to grab a scoop of Guernsey right at the park during every Tigers game, because baseball isn't just America's favorite pastime, it's even better with America's favorite treat. Cool off, treat yourself, and make every Tigers moment a little sweeter with Guernsey Farms Dairy. Guernsey Farms Dairy and the Detroit Tigers teaming up to knock it out of the park.
Quality that's delicious, that's the Guernsey difference.
March is your lucky month at the Nerve and Disc Institute in Farmington, Clinton Township, Grand Blanc, and Bad Axe. Hi, it's Paul W. Smith. Thousands of people, like my wife Kim and I, feel extremely lucky that our chronic back, neck, and knee pain are gone, thanks to our lucky charm, Dr. Saul Kogan. His non-surgical, non-invasive intradisc neutrosis and knee restore RX treatments stimulate the body's self-repair healing process. If you have spinal stenosis, herniated, bulging, or degenerative discs, sciatica pain or numbness, tingling or burning in your hands, arms, or legs, you're in luck. When you mention WJR in March, you'll get a consultation, examination, x-ray, or MRI review, and a laser treatment for just $49 for your first visit at the Nerve and Disc Institute. Your luck is about to change for the better. Call 586-416-DISC. That's 586-416-3472. Call now.
There's just something about that first pitch of the season. It's a clean slate, a fresh start, a whole city locked in and ready for opening day baseball at Comerica Park. Nobody captures the energy like WJR. From the morning buzz downtown to the final cut, we're bringing you the atmosphere, the excitement, and the stories that make this day Detroit's most electric tradition. Whether you're in the office, on the road, or headed downtown, keep opening day live all day with 760 WJR, where Michigan comes for a fresh start. Wake up tomorrow with JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR. Right now, it's JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermani, with Marie Osborne sitting in.
A Detroit area nonprofit is gaining some national recognition for addressing global childhood hunger while creating economic opportunity for women. Gina Gable is a Grosse Pointe mother, and her co-founder, Priscilla Perry Heffelfinger, were named to Inc. magazine's 2026 Female Founders 500 list for their work in funding the Michigan-based nonprofit Thrive. We want to welcome them both to WJR. Hi, Gina. Hi, Priscilla.
Hi.
Hi, ladies. So I'm just going to throw the questions out there. Just one of you answer. That's kind of going to be a great way to keep this straight with both of you. So I'm just glad we could both get you at the same time. So I have to say, most people are utterly overwhelmed when they see pictures of kids, starving children that are thousands of miles away from us. But you decided to make a difference, and you got to tell us how exactly you did that.
Well, we saw those kids firsthand. And when you see kids begging for food on the streets of Bangladesh, I should back up, we both lived there in 2012. It's really hard to not do anything. And it's entirely heartbreaking. So we ended up visiting a school and we saw some of these kids who were begging for food around the area of the school. And we asked the school, how can we help, knowing that these kids were not getting regular nutrition? And they said, these kids need food. So we offered to bring a banana 1 day a week to the 250 kids at this little school. And we shared it on Facebook and we grew really slowly. One school, 1 day, one school, one community at a time. And we are now feeding over 3,500 kids daily school meals, and we've just served our 5 millionth meal.
Okay, couple of questions here. What were you doing in Bangladesh in 2012?
I was living in Bangladesh. My husband had a job at the U.S. Embassy, and so we were there with our family. I had 2 little kids at the time. They're the same age as a lot of these kids who were begging for food on the streets.
So when you asked though for the one banana, I'm a little confused. You didn't ask for one banana to feed all the children, right? You were asking for bananas as plural to feed these children, correct?
Right, and we weren't asking. I just offered. I offered to bring 1 banana per kid to this school of 250 kids.
Okay.
And then we shared the story back home with friends, and everybody wanted to help from afar. And then there were local people, local community members that wanted to jump in too.
So this was back in 2012, but now here we are, 2026. You're a much bigger organization. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so like I said, we grew really slowly because we didn't really go into this with a steady plan. It happened really organically. So we were feeding kids one school at a time, 1 day. And once we were able to reach 5 days at a time to that one school, then we added on another school. And then my co-founder, Priscilla Heffelfinger, she then moved to the Philippines and saw some of the same hunger issues. And she can tell you a little bit about what that program was like there.
Yeah. Priscilla, tell us about that. What was that like when you first discovered this deep poverty and this deep hunger?
Yeah, so I mean, just to step back 1 second, one thing I think that's really cool that was unexpected when we started Thrive is, it's just us, like Gina said, saying we'll bring a banana to this school each week. But like Gina mentioned, people in Michigan right away started to jump in when they saw her Facebook post. And so we started to get money from them. And then people that were living in the country, specifically people that were from the country, from Bangladesh, and then later on the Philippines, asked if they could join too. And so that's really how we grew, is because we started off just us, but very quickly it became a community, both local and international community, coming together to feed these kids. And how we got to the Philippines is after I lived with Gina in Bangladesh with my family, my husband's job took us to the Philippines, and we saw the similar kids begging on the streets. We just knew we had to do something similar to what we were doing in Bangladesh.
Did either one of you ever dream in a million years that something like this could happen?
Never in a million years. I never even dreamt of going to Bangladesh and living there.
Yeah, much less this, right? But it's basically, this is your life now. Gina, Priscilla, I guess I would imagine this is really your life.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Oh, go ahead, Gina.
Well, it consumes, we've committed to feeding school meals every single day to over 3,500 kids. And so it consumes our thoughts of like, how are we got to keep this going every single day.
Tell us how people can get a hold of you if they want to donate or if they want to know more info.
Yeah, well, check out our website. It is www.thrive-global.org.
Thrive-.org.
Thrive-global.org.
Global.org. Yeah, our phone line dropped there. So it's thrive-global.org. All right, we're going to give that again, too. We want to make sure we do that. I've got a tough question, though, for you to ask both of you, and that is, we have a lot of poverty and we have a lot of hungry children right here in our own city, in our own state. Tell us how you respond to that type of question, doing that the work you're doing is for these Bangladesh and for the Philippines so far away from us.
I mean, I think a child is a child anywhere. And what we saw and experienced living overseas and have come to learn now doing this work for over 13 years is that there's nothing behind Thrive. So in the countries we serve, if Thrive stops, the meal stops. And when the meal stops, those kids go back to begging on the streets. So everywhere there's a need, and we want to make sure every child's fed throughout the world, but we saw poverty that we'd never seen before. So that's where we stepped in first.
Yeah, and it is profound poverty, that is for sure, in a lot of these countries. Do you hope you're to expand your operations?
Of course. I mean, we would love for every kid to not be hungry. So as far as the funding will go, that's as many schools as we'll bring on.
Yeah, so that you have designs and ideas to make this much bigger. What have your families said about your efforts?
Oh, our families love it. They're a part of it. Every single one of all of our family members have played a part in making this happen.
So the name of the organization is Thrive. Gina Gable is a Grosse Pointe mother. Her co-founder, Priscilla Perry Heffelfinger. This Thrive organization named to Inc. magazine's 2026 Female Founders 500 list. That's a huge accomplishment. If you'd like to help these ladies, you can go to thrive-global.org. You can make a donation there. Thank you so much, ladies, for both of you for joining us today. And this just goes to prove how one teeny idea can really change the world. Instead of stepping back and saying, I don't know what to do about that, we really can make a difference. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Priscilla.
Thanks
for having us.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
And when we come back, we'll be talking with Steve Courtney. Lots to talk about in sports. We'll be right back.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Hi, I'm Adam Devine, Chief Fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. No. I said more fun! When I was a kid, a Children's Miracle Network hospital helped me get back on my feet, literally. So trust me when I say that these places aren't just hospitals. They are hope factories. Children's Miracle Network is hospitals, programs, partners, and donors like you. Join us in making big change for all kids. Visit us online at cmn.org.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
This winter might not have been the worst one on record, but it's up there. Aside from being hard on people, it's even tougher on our homes. Hi, it's Paul W. For my friends here at Victor's Home Solutions. If the freeze-thaw cycles this winter created even the slightest crack in the shingles or sealant on your roof, you're going to have water in your home this spring when the rains hit. That's why you need to call Victor's today and schedule a free 21-point roof inspection before the rainy season. They'll go over every inch of your roof and review their findings with you. And if they do find a problem, it can usually be fixed with an inexpensive repair. But if it is time for a new roof, you could not hire a better company than Victor's. Over-the-top customer service, highly skilled crews that install a perfect roof every time. And best of all, they offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. So give them a call for your free roof inspection today. 866-VICTORS. That's 866-VICTORS. Or online at victors.com. Victors.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by the Hartford Auto Insurance.
Wait until you hear this. You could save hundreds by switching to AARP Auto Insurance from The Hartford. Visit trusthartford.com. The Hartford, your protection is our passion. Pays royalty fees to AARP for the use of its intellectual property. AARP and its affiliates are not insurers. Savings vary.
WJR Traffic and Weather First is sponsored by Paramount Roofing. Looking for a roofing company you can trust? Paramount Roofing delivers a 5-star roofing experience made easy. Get your instant free roof quote at weareroofing.com. Built to last, backed for life with no money down and 5 years 0% interest. Residential and commercial roofing. Paramount Roofing. We have a disabled vehicle blocking your left shoulder on I-96 westbound at Kent Lake Road. Keep in mind, southbound Southfield Freeway closed between Grand River Avenue and I-96. We've got a police situation there. You're slow from 7 Mile. Traffic is being directed off onto the service drive. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Bumpy ride today. Storm Prediction Center's flagged us at risk for pockets of strong or severe storms, hail-producing storms, high wind, heavy rain, even isolated tornadoes for southern Michigan today. Near 70 degrees. Stay weather aware this afternoon as severe storms are likely this afternoon. 37 our low tonight, cloudy tomorrow, high 42. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria. More at the Weather Channel on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Wow, that music's really, I don't know, Steve Courtney. That's a great intro music for you.
How about that, huh?
I haven't heard that.
Got a beat? Easy to dance to?
Yeah.
You better believe it.
Yeah, I can dance to that, right?
Holy mackerel. Miss Marie, how are you?
I'm great. We had a little rousing conversation about Tiger Woods there off the air.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we did. And if we have time, because there's a lot to unpack
A lot,
here.
I know. Lot.
More on Tiger. Meanwhile, what I'm about to say may not make sense at the beginning, but in time it will. An impressive loss for the Pistons last night in OKC. Stay with me. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Oh, what a night. Just another night at the office. 47 points as the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Pistons 114-110 in overtime. Now, the reigning league MVP, and he's probably going to repeat, 12 of 19 from the field, 21 of 25 from the charity stripe. He extended his NBA record for consecutive games with at least 20 points to 136. All right, now, the reason I say it was an impressive loss is because the Eastern Conference leading Pistons were missing 4 of their 5 regular starters. Obviously, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren was out with a right knee injury. Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson were out with right hip injuries. And Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart, still nursing that calf. He did not play at all. So you take the best team in the league to overtime on their home floor where they've dominated. And I'll tell you what, it spoke volumes. The Pistons, by the way, impressive. They've won 5 of 7 without Cade. Paul Reed, 21 points, 10 boards. Javonte Green, 19 points. Kevin Huerter, acquired in that Jaden Ivey trade with the Bulls, He's starting to put in some quality time here, huh? 17 points for the Pistons, who, by the way, are right back in action tonight, hosting the Toronto Raptors. That will be an 8 o'clock start. The Raptors are 42-32, fifth right now in the Eastern Conference. They're 11 and a half games behind the Pistons, in case you're wondering. By the way, could be a very special night for your Detroit Pistons. With a win over the Raptors tonight, the Pistons would clinch the Central Division for the first time since the 2007-2008 campaign. It would also mark the fifth time in their illustrious history the Pistons would record 55 wins. The magic number to clinch the number one seed in the East is now 3. The Boston Celtics now 4 games behind the Detroiters. Things did not go well, Marie, for Justin Verlander in Phoenix last night. Corbin Carroll hit a 3-run shot. He had 4 RBI. The Diamondbacks opened up the 3-game set with a 9-6 win over the Tigers last night. Verlander, who turned 43 in February, not a good line at all. Gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, 2 walks over 3 2/3. Began his 21st big league season after returning to the Old English Steers in February on that 1-year deal. The Diamondbacks, they actually got off to an 8-0 lead before the Tigers able to gain some ground. Colt Keith, if you're looking for a positive, 2 doubles, including one that scored 2 runs. Casey Mize will make his season debut tonight for the Old English Steers there in Phoenix. 9:40 is the start time. Critical hockey game for your Winged Wheelers tonight. They'll be in Pittsburgh to take on Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. Right now, Pittsburgh, 90 points, second in the Metropolitan Division, 1 point ahead of the Islanders. By the way, on the road last night, Pittsburgh annihilated the team on the island, 8-3 the final there. Now, we are witnessing, sadly, another March swoon for the Detroit Red Wings. Right now, they are 5-6-2 in this month of March. They've lost 3 of their last 4. It's been costly. You take a look at what's going on with the wild card spot right now in the East. Of course, the Red Wings looking to end the 9-year postseason drought. Boston in the top spot with 92 points. Columbus, they possess the second with 88 points. Then you've got Ottawa and the Red Wings, both with 86 points. It is still, yes, within reach. But when you take a look at regulation wins, which is a critical tiebreaker in the NHL, Boston with 30, Columbus with 27, Ottawa with 32, and the Red Wings with 28. But like Todd McClellan, Red Wing head coach, said, you just win hockey games. And let's see, hopefully it'll start tonight. Meanwhile, we do have a little bit of time for some Tiger conversation because more information has come out. He told authorities that he was looking down at his cell phone and changing the radio station in his SUV, which caused him not to see the truck slowing down before his rollover crash last Friday in Jupiter Island, Florida. Martin County Sheriff's Deputy Tatiana Levnar wrote in an arrest affidavit that Woods was sweating profusely and his movement was lethargic and slow. Tiger is now 50. He should know better. I know that. He was actually arrested last Friday on suspicion of misdemeanor DUI with property damage. A report that we find out today, another Martin County Sheriff's Deputy, Marie, found 2 hydrocodone pills in Woods' left pants pocket. The sheriff instructed Woods to perform 4 field sobriety exercises. During one exercise in which Woods was asked to follow the tip of a pen with his eyes only, he continuously moved his head from side to side and had to be instructed several times to keep his head straight. So there you have it. I think it's clear that, and here you have a guy that not really all that long ago was on top of the mountain in so many different ways. And what we have found out over a period of time, and I know he's gone to hell and back as far as surgeries and what have you. It's an occupational risk, but he's got to take care of himself because I think he's an addict. And
it's pretty clear.
That's the only way you can put it bluntly. So there was conversation about him participating in this year's Masters, which is now just a couple weeks away or so. He also registered for the U.S. Senior Open in July. Enough of the golf talk, dude.
Right.
You've got to sit back, reassess where you are right now, which is in a very dark place. To sum up what Tiger Woods, even when times were pretty darn good, what he has sacrificed. Beautiful wife, beautiful young family. And now this, it's old.
It really is. And he, I told you before that we were talking off the air, I said, I feel sorry for him because clearly his problems are not physical problems, they're addiction problems. And people out there who have struggled with that recognize this so clearly, and they know what has to happen in order for you to get your life straightened out. This has been going on for many decades for him. This insatiable need to be on the top and to win and to have fame and all of that has come at such a big price. He just needs care.
You remember the last big accident in California,
Oh, yeah.
in which he wasn't even tested, by the way, and he almost lost a leg. Wouldn't that be a wake-up call to most people saying, look, I've got to figure some things out here?
Sometimes
And he
it's
better.
not. Yeah, sometimes it's not. Really, just a really sad story. And he does have a chance, though, to change history here and to change his life moving forward.
He needs to. He has to.
Yeah, he has to. All right, Steve Courtney, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us today here on JR Afternoon. Mitch Albom and crew, right along with Steve Courtney, will be up next here on JR. Stay with us.